I'm Scott.
This is Gavin.
And I'm Craig. Hey, this is Craig from Major's Mess Hall podcast, and this is finally episode 70.
70.
70?
You're not 17.
70. I went like that.
Yeah, I know, but when you went E, it sounded like you were saying 17. Yeah, do it again. Oh.
Hey everyone, this is Craig from Major's Mess Hall, and this is episode 70. I'm with...
Hey.
Do it again, Scott Repton.
Hey, this is...
Fucking hell, mate. God's sake, come on.
Hey everyone, this is Craig from Major's Mess Hall, and this is episode 70 with me, Gavin, and Scott.
Hey.
And the guest is...
What's her name?
Oh my God.
Just cut this out.
No, move it across. Hello everyone, this is episode 70 of the Major's Mess Hall podcast. I am Gavin, I'm joined by Craig and Scott, and we have a very special guest coming up, and I'm going to let Scott say who it is.
Everybody knows her as Veruca Salt from the movie, the original, and for what I care, the only Willy Wonka movie, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Talking about Julie Donko.
And she really was lovely, you know, she... Again, just like everyone else that's been on, she gave us the time, she came on, she had a chat, she was lovely to speak to, told us some great things about the movie that everybody loves. I mean, this is a classic that, you know, we put up there with like the likes of The Wizard of Oz and stuff like that. Like, it's an amazing classic. It's still going on today, like, kids love it today.
You know, at one point when I was talking to her, or when we were talking to her, I was thinking about the movie, and then it comes to realization that I was talking to her, and I don't know, it kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. I mean, like I say, just some of the stories she had to say about it, you know, a time working with Gene Wilder and some of the other cast. And, of course, she still keeps in touch with many of them as well. I mean, obviously, Gene Wilder passed away a few years ago, but, you know, you'll hear yourself, you know, she's got so much time. It was a film that was made 47 years ago, and she still talks about it like it's a current project, really. You know, she's got all the time in the world to speak about it. But yeah, no, it's great. We're going to play that interview out soon. But first of all, we're going to have a little quick catch up with Craig, who flew in here last week, wasn't it? When was it? Last Saturday, or Saturday just gone. How was that, Craig? How was your experience with flying in?
Well, right now I just can't be bothered flying here anymore. No, I don't like the flying. It's just boring for me. I hardly don't travel with anyone. So I'll just get here and just be done with. But the flying, I just didn't like the flying this time around. The airlines changed, the planes all changed, different layouts, a lot more smaller. I just didn't like it.
What are you on about? You don't want to fly here anymore?
No, I want to come here, but don't like the flying anymore.
Oh, you just want to get here,
yeah,
like instantaneously.
Yeah.
Click your fingers and get here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not how life works though, is it, son? Come on. So, what about what you've done so far?
Well, Saturday we went to see The Avengers.
Went to see The Avengers Saturday, yeah.
It's actually quite a good film.
Yeah.
You didn't like it.
Well, it's not that I didn't like it. I'm not
No
gonna
spoilers.
No, I'm not going to. I'm not going to spoil it. But like, something you have to understand when you go and see it is that it's part one of two. So I didn't know that. I thought this was it. I thought like it was going to be concluded. It's been 10 years of the build up to this, and I thought that was it. But it's not. So it ends on a bit of an Empire Strikes Back kind of cliffhanger, and it's left. And now we have to wait like a year or more to find out what happens, and it's just annoying. Like I didn't know that going in. I thought it was going to be concluded, so I was a bit disappointed. Because to be fair, I love these films, but there's only so many of them I can take. I'm just like, come on now, it needs to wrap soon. Like, it's been going on for too long. I mean, some people will probably say the same about this podcast, but I mean, you know, it really does need to wrap up soon.
They got a couple more coming out, you know, like Wasp and Ant-Man comes out next month and all that. So
Yeah, you forgot another film.
Yeah, what was it, Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
Yeah, Captain Marvel's like, that's got something to do with the next Avengers film that's coming out, and and I'll
Right.
go and see them all. But I just was expecting it to be finished, and it wasn't. But other than that, it was a great movie. I loved it, just as I do all the other ones. Yeah. So other than that, yeah, Craig has literally done nothing else apart from sit on his arse and eat pickled eggs.
Hey, 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 hey.
Arse.
So
You're allowed to say arse.
what are you talking about? Craig's been out there making videos.
Well, Sunday
He was-
we went out for a walk.
You need to speak into the mic. No, don't touch it.
Sunday we went out for a walk. It was a bit of a chill day. Monday stayed in. Tuesday I popped out for like an hour or so.
It's like a Craig David song, this.
Wednesday I went to the city, so I always like to do when I come over here. Go out drinking. I went for a bite to eat. Thursday today, so I stayed in again
Chilled on Sunday.
because it was raining. And me and Gav just went out for a bite to eat before.
Jackassers.
Yeah, and Boston pizza for dessert.
Which he didn't like his dessert because he got cheesecake and said it didn't taste like cheese.
Well, it was nice to begin with, but when I got near the end, it tasted weird.
Well, yeah, it's not supposed
So-
to taste like cheese, though, is it? You
I'm
dope.
not saying that.
And then I got a cookie with ice cream on top, which was raw in the middle, so that annoyed me. Because I'd already eaten most of it, and then when I moved the ice cream out the way, it was raw in the centre. Anyway, we're talking about absolute rubbish here. Let's talk to Scott Powers. Scott, what have you been up to?
Work preparing for this trip, for the pub crawl, which is coming up by the time you hear this. And, man, I can't wait to get over there. And basically, that's it. Just been working a lot.
What time you coming over on Friday?
I'll be over at 3:25. I should be at the airport, unless I can, unless it's an hour later. If I can get, if they ask for volunteers to stay off the plane for a free ticket. So
So stay off the plane and then get on the next flight out.
yeah,
Do you know when that is? Have you looked?
no, it's an hour. They are all like 1 hour in sync with each other. An
Really?
hour, 20 minutes. Yeah.
You sure? Because everything's 20 minutes with you, and it never ends up being.
Hey, I didn't say 20 minutes this time. So
You don't know what
But-
you're doing, do you, though?
no, like the last time, like before when I used to travel a lot, and they overbook planes, and even last year when I came with JR, they asked for volunteers to stay over for an hour, and you get a free plane ticket. So
Why
if I
don't
get
you
a
just
free,
get your plane and come over. Stop messing around with stuff. Just get on it and come over.
because if I can get a free plane ticket, I'm doing it.
Is it an actual free ticket, or is it just like a voucher towards a flight, the next flight?
You can give it to anybody. It's like last time it was a $450 gift,
Wow,
Air Canada gift card.
that's cool.
So, yeah, so I'll definitely, and then, like I said, man, and everybody's listening, they can witness. I'll give you the card, man, so you can come back to Chicago.
Thanks, man. And it's a plus point for us too, because if you're an hour late coming in, that's an hour less to spend with you. So that's great.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about for Craig. That should really make Craig happy.
Right, okay, listen, let's go through to our interview now with Julie Dawn Cole, and we'll be back for more rubbish chat right after.
Don't care how I want it now. Don't care how I want it now.
We have a very special guest joining us for a chat right now. She is an English actress who has been active for some 40 years. She began as a child performer in what remains her best remembered film, 1971's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, playing the spoiled Veruca Salt. Of course, I'm talking about the wonderful Julie Dawn Cole. Julie, thank you so much for joining us on Major's Mess Hall.
My pleasure.
How you doing today, Julie?
I'm good. For me, it's the end of the day, so it's 8 o'clock. So I'm home watching the sun go down and thinking, soon I'll be heading off to bed.
It's end of the day for you and midday for me.
I know it's weird, isn't it? Yeah.
So obviously we've got a lot of questions for you, and it's obviously about, obviously starring in Willy Wonka. Now, the first question I have to ask is, and I'm hoping that I know what the answer's going to be, but do you ever get sick and tired of answering questions? Because it's been 47 years since that film came out, and you must get questions every single week.
I get quite a lot, but no, I'm never really tired of it. Sometimes, it depends whether you're doing a kind of, saturation of events and things, and then you might be asked the same question every day.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's always nice to be asked for somebody to find a question that I've never been asked before, and there's usually one or two, so that's nice.
Yeah, we tried to put a few in here, so hopefully we'll have a few
Good.
unique ones for you.
Good.
Hopefully.
Let's see, I'll let you know if you succeed.
So, I know you've probably been asked this, but obviously a lot of Willy Wonka fans and all that are huge Gene Wilder fans.
Yeah.
Was he a good, as great as he seemed like he was on TV, movies and all that?
You want to
in
know
person?
if Gene Wilder was a good egg? yes, he was a good egg. Which is lovely to be able to say. I don't have to burst anybody's bubble there. He was nice. He was kind. He was patient. He was funny. He was very gentle, and just fun to be around. Of course, back then, I was 12 years old, and he was a relatively new star at the time, so I didn't know of him. I was kind of more impressed by Roy Kinnear, who played my father, who I had heard of. But Gene was just, to us, he was just Gene.
It's a strange question, but when he obviously passed away, that must have been really hard for you and the other guys, because I know it was like you only worked with him for a certain amount of time, but he's been such a big part of your life that it must have been hard when you heard that he passed.
It was horrible, because we do kind of consider ourselves family, and so that was one of our family. And you work together for a while, but it's a period of your life that never goes away. So it had stayed, it has stayed, and will continue to do so, I guess. So it was like, losing your uncle. And the fond uncle, the one that you really like. It was very sad. Sad.
Did you see him over the years, since filming many times?
I had seen him twice since. I saw him in London when he was on Shaftesbury Avenue doing a play. He was doing Laughter on the 23rd Floor, the Neil Simon play. Right. And I went backstage to see him, and that was lovely to see him then. And then I used to do some guest contributions on a daytime show here called This Morning. And he was on that a few years ago promoting his autobiography, and I met him again then. Said, "Hey, Gene, I used to sit in your lap and you used to tell me stories."
Are you surprised that after 47 years, the movie still holds up strong, like it just came out yesterday, amongst the movies today?
Yeah, it's very strange. It disappeared for a number of years, and it was probably in the late, I would say the 80s, when it was beginning to come back again, because with the advent of, showing it on TV and VHS and all of those kind of formats. And then I guess by the 90s, that's when we realized, late 90s, that it had become a classic. And that was a strange thing. So, now I've kind of got used to the idea, but it wasn't until 97 that we were all tracked back down again, and they reunited, as it were, by a guy called Gene Crowell, who lives in Maryland. And he's a sort of what we call a super fan, a kind of fan friend. And he traced us all, and we were reunited at a convention, but that would have been 97. So that's when we suddenly became aware of, okay, maybe we are classics.
It's like, I put it up there with The Wizard of Oz. To me, that's like where it is for me, because, obviously, I'm 34 now, so the film was it was obviously quite old even when I was born.
Way before you were born.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but I mean, at the time when you're a kid, you don't realise that it was made many years before you were around. I mean, I've got 2 kids now.
No,
My daughter will be 4 at the end of the year, and I really wanted to watch it, and I know she's going to love it when she sees it. But it's so timeless. Like it stood the test of time.
Yeah.
Many films back then didn't, and even films made after that you can just tell, and it's like this isn't for me because it's aged. But that film just hasn't.
We're just very lucky with lots of elements of it. The fact that it was shot in Munich in Germany adds to the timeless quality, cobbled streets and unidentifiable cars and that kind of thing. So that adds to the timelessness. They deliberately chose the costume designs. Those costume designs could be anywhere, could be any time. So again, that doesn't place it. There was a picture in last fall that people were sending round. Dolly Parton was dressed up in the Veruca Salt outfit, the red dress for Halloween, and hey, she rocked it. So it's still not dated.
Was the boat scene in the movie scary for you guys? I mean, it's so different than the rest of the movie.
Yes, you suddenly go into, no pun intended, but it gets very dark.
Right.
Yes, it does. Yeah. Yes, for us, the boat exits one studio lot and then cut, and then the next week we pick up the filming when we're in the tunnel, and by this time the boat is now on a big kind of stepladder affair, for want of a better word. It's raised up in the air with a screen behind it so that those nasty things that you see were all being projected behind us, and a few worse ones, I think, which they cut in the edit. But yeah, it was creepy and horrible, and we had no idea that Gene was going to do the weird performance that he did.
So did you think that were you guys told that he was going to say something but you didn't know what? Or did he literally just come out with all that stuff?
No, it is all scripted. I mean, every now and again, I for real fans, I do tweet the odd picture of the script because people are always keen to know, was that ad lib or was it real or blah, blah. So most of it was scripted. So that sequence and the poem is scripted. But I think it says something like, he sings a little song. Yeah, that's a bit of an understatement. So yes, he went complete Fruit Loop.
It's amazing though. I mean, it's like that's the only thing I said to my wife about like showing my daughter, and she was like, "Oh, I don't know about the boat scene," and I was like, "Well, we can always skip through that for her, like, because it is really creepy." But as an adult, it kind of makes the movie like it's such a good scene because it is really freaky.
Yeah.
And I heard that you guys didn't know you hadn't seen the chocolate room until they started filming. Is that true as well? Like they kept that from you guys?
It's sort of half true. I had to keep this quiet for many, many years. I had gone out to Germany earlier before filming began to pre-record my song. And so I'd been out there like August or something, and that scene didn't get shot till September. But while I was out there and before filming really properly started, one of the scene hands said, "Oh, would you like to see the chocolate room?" No, you bet. Of course I would. So I saw it while it was being constructed. It wasn't finished by any means. And then when everybody joined and we started filming, and then Mel Stewart, the director, said, "Right, the kids cannot see the set. The set's closed to them." I was like, "Whoops, okay, it's too late because I've already seen it." So I kept it quiet. I didn't tell anybody.
So you mentioned the song the song that you sing in the movie, and I'd noticed that and other things. I'd noticed that you were actually, apart from Charlie, your character was given slightly more than the other kids. I found, like, even like when you found the ticket, it wasn't like a news report. It was an actual cut scene away to show that your father.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I got the whole scene.
Yeah,
I did.
And then you got the song and like
quite small.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, why was that? Like, I mean, it was great for you, obviously, but why do you think that was? Was that anything to do with you as an actress, or did they just decide that?
I think it's just purely because I'm more talented than
She wanted it now.
Yeah. I want a song and I want it now.
Speaking.
Yeah, no, it was written that way, so that's how it was.
Speaking of that song, I got a friend, and Her name's Caitlin, and she's like such a huge fan of yours. And she used to sing that song when she'd do pageants and talent
Yeah.
shows in school. But that was her song. She did she always wanted to be you. It is
Uh,
it's I mean it's a weird
I
song,
love it.
but
Yeah, it's a tricky song to do because it's got kind of syncopated rhythms and key changes and various things. But yeah, it's a fun song. I think when you say about do we ever get sick of it, one of the things I love is when kids come up at conventions and they want to sing the song and they do it almost as an audition for me, and I love it. That's wonderful.
Yeah, that must be amazing.
in Wizard of Oz, the flying monkeys scared me, and I gotta admit, and this is breaking news here, the Oompa Loompas scared me.
The Oompa Loompas, yes, the Oompa Loompas. Yes, I have heard this before. Lots of people say it was those little guys. They really scared me.
Because I never are they really good or are they like evil? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, well, they do. They cart all the kids off, don't they? And they take people to juicing rooms and marshmallow rooms and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, but really they're only there to do Mr. Wonka's bidding. He's the real Machiavellian brains behind it all.
I mean, that's the weird thing about that film, because as a kid, you don't even think, like, as soon as one of the kids goes, it's like, okay, the kid's gone, you carry on watching the movie, but then you think, what happens to that kid? Like, where's that kid ended up now? And it's quite, I suppose that's quite creepy as well when you think about it,
Yeah. I think when you're watching it as a child, almost you imagine yourself in the movie and you think, good, that's one less. Now I'm one step closer. You kind of imagine yourself winning the factory. It's like, yeah, let's get rid of the competition. And of course, you want Charlie to win. Everybody wants Charlie to win.
Oh, 100%. And we actually named my son Charlie as well. Sort of kind of part, like my daughter's called Alice after Alice in Wonderland, and my grandmother is also called Alice. And Charlie was my...
Thank goodness you didn't call her Veruca. You could have called your daughter Veruca.
Sometimes we do, because every now and then she'll have what we call a Veruca moment, where she's like being a little diva.
They all have their moments.
I look at Dean and I say, look, she's pulling a Veruca Salt now, look. So obviously you met Roald Dahl and you said how wonderful he was and stuff, but I heard a rumour, now I don't know if this is true, so you can probably tell us if it's true or not, but I heard that he didn't like the movie after it had been made. Is that true?
Well, this is what has been said, and there's been a lot written about that. He wasn't an easy man to get along with. He was a bit tricky, and he didn't like the director. But then, that was kind of fairly common as well. The director was a bit tricky. So here you are. You've got two larger-than-life characters, and like lots of authors, most authors, I guess, that you want to have a vision of how the book is or how the book should be as a movie. But the director, quite rightly, said, you don't make a movie of a book, you make a movie of a screenplay.
Yes.
So there have to be some changes. So there was always going to be this conflict. But, the director was a bit of an irascible devil. I mean, a lovable one, but, he was tricky. And they knew from the beginning that it was going to be difficult. So they hired one of the executive producers who'd known Roald Dahl. They lived next door to each other for years. So he was on board as well to kind of keep everything smooth. But, the inevitable happens and, people fall out. I wasn't party to any of this. This is all I know afterwards. However, all I can say is that I met Roald Dahl on set several times. I had dinner with him, and I met him again at the London premiere, which would have been a year after filming completed. So, yeah, the following December we had the London premiere. And I sat next to Roald Dahl, and he was laughing away. So, what can you say? I think there were personalities involved, and maybe he did or didn't like the film. I think he'd be happy that it's inspired people to read books, to write books, and inspired so many people. So, and perhaps he would be surprised at the longevity of it. But of course, it is a wonderful story.
It is, and like I grew up reading his books. I didn't want to read anyone else's books. It had to be Roald Dahl. I loved all of his books, and I always wanted to. I always wanted to meet him. Like that was like my dream as a little kid. I would have loved to have met him. So to hear that he was a lovely man is really nice to know.
Yeah, Yeah, I asked him why he called Veruca Veruca, because in America, a Veruca, well, we call a Veruca, you call a planter's wart, or in Canada,
Yeah.
I believe it's the same thing. So it's a planter's wart, which is a wart that you get in your foot. And he said he called her Veruca because she was a wart of a child. And, you couldn't think of a worse place to get a wart than on the foot, so he called her Veruca, but with one R.
So, go ahead, Scott.
I'm just amazed. I mean, listening to the stories and then thinking about the movie, and it's just amazed talking to her. No, I just here's an odd question.
That's a nice reaction. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Have I been asked it before? Let's try.
Did your hair get shorter in the movie?
What?
Yes, it did. Okay, we had a crazy but wonderful makeup and hairdressing lady. Her name was Susie Kraus, and it was shot in 1971. And back then, I don't know, you are gentlemen, so perhaps you're not quite so much aware, but we ladies, every now and again, there's a sort of trend about what we worry about in our hair. And that was the age of the split ends. It's not something you see advertised on TV anymore. But split ends was the bane of every woman's life. There were shampoos and products on the market to cure you of your split ends. Anyway, Susie Kraus, our crazy German hairdressing lady, had a technique for getting rid of split ends. She would take a chunk of your hair and twist it almost so that it made a dreadlock. And then she would run a candle up it, a lighted candle. She would run this lighted candle up and down your hair so it singed off the split ends. Of course, it also made your hair considerably shorter.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's not very noticeable, but I mean, I always wondered if there's like something wrong with my eyes.
Yeah, there's one, and because things were shot out of sequence, but there is one scene, I believe it's when we leave the inventing room and we're heading off to the lickable wallpaper corridor. I swear to goodness that my hair is about 3 inches shorter there, so obviously that was near the end of Susie Kraus's ministrations.
So the question is, have you heard that question before?
I have.
Almost.
Come on.
I was confident with that one then. As soon as he said it, I thought she's never been asked that.
Well, there's a couple of questions that we have been asked before, and I thought that was really neat. One of the little kids said, "Where did the Wonka Vader come down?" So I thought that was rather cute from a child's perspective. The great glass elevator goes up, but he said, well, "Where did it come down?"
Yeah, you never know.
So that was quite cute. No,
It just kept rising up and going across the city.
Yep, absolutely.
So I heard that you got to keep one of the golden eggs because it was your birthday and they gave you one of the golden eggs.
I did.
So obviously you still have that. So where do you keep it now?
I don't have the egg anymore.
You don't have it?
No,
wow.
Yeah, I ate it. No, I made an omelette with it. No, I don't have it anymore. When the certain other version came out a few years ago, that which has no name, which we will not mention. And we thought, well, okay, that's it. And so there are a few pieces that I had, memorabilia, and I thought, well, okay, maybe now is the time to sell it. So I sold that, and I sold my everlasting gobstop. I didn't sell it to Slugworth, but I sold it and I went on holiday with the kids. I wish
nice.
my two children. So I wish kind of now that I'd kept it, because that other version was not as popular as people thought it was going to be.
No, not at all. Like, not at all. I mean, we won't spend time talking about it, but I seen it, obviously. As a fan of the book, I seen it, but I didn't like it at all. Just very strange.
Yeah.
Just kind of went off topic a little bit, really.
It did. But anyway, that was roundabout when I kind of thought, oh, well, I'll part with some of the bits and pieces I've got. However, I do still have a Scrumdiddlyumptious bar, and I do still have a Wonka bar, and I do still have a golden ticket.
Oh, that's incredible. That's amazing.
The stories you got to tell just with those, to your kids and one day grandchildren or whatever, So
well, it's interesting because I've been thinking maybe I should make a will recently, and they've both been fighting over who gets the golden ticket.
So it's true that you don't act anymore, or?
No, I don't. No, I don't. The irony of all of this is I'm now a child psychotherapist.
Oh man, you could have analyzed me then.
Yeah. So,
And-
I made the decision a few years ago that it was time to do something different, retrained, took a degree, went back to school and qualified and got a degree in psychotherapy. And I now work for a cancer charity.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a completely different field, but very rewarding.
So if they ever done another remake, God forbid, but if they did and it was done properly, and they asked you, which is something I think they should have done in the remake that they did, is like if they wanted to sort of have the cast come back as cameos, would you be interested in doing that?
Oh, yeah, I think we've said that as the kids, that we would all do that. Us kids, I mean, we're now 60, but yeah, we would all be up for that. But I think that would have been nice, and I think that would have been something that fans would have enjoyed. Just a little nod to, okay, there she is,
Yeah, definitely.
Being a reporter in the background or something would have been
just something.
I think they would have probably gained a lot more fans with that. Fans are very fiercely loyal. They're very partisan.
Yeah, well, it's like when they remade Ghostbusters. I mean, I love Ghostbusters, but I didn't like the remake. But they used the original cast members as cameos in the film, which was like the only good thing about it, and it's the only thing that made me want to see the movie. Yeah. So it would have made a difference.
And I think it would have made a difference. I think the film is also your childhood memories, and you don't want anybody messing with your memories.
Yeah.
People have ownership of it. We were in other people's lives. It's quite an important responsibility.
Why do you think that after the movie, everybody but yourself continued on with acting, but nobody else did anything? That's really weird.
Well, yeah, a variety of reasons, really. I mean, Peter Ostrom, who played Charlie Bucket, didn't really care for the whole experience. He didn't like the whole deal of movie making. He auditioned for a role on Broadway, which he didn't get. Had he got that, who knows, it would have been different. And I think with the money that he earned on the movie, he bought himself a horse, and that was the start of his love of larger animals, and he's now a large animal veterinarian.
Oh, nice.
Denise, who played Violet Beauregard, she carried on acting for a while till she was about 16, I think. And then she changed course and became worked for SpaceX, Elon Musk's company, and did that. Michael never did another film, and in fact, he didn't even know. Michael played Augustus Gloop. Didn't even know that Willy Wonka was successful until '97, when the superfan Gene Crowell tracked him down, and he's a tax accountant in Munich. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So I've got one more question. And this has got nothing to do with the movie at all, but it's a question I'm very curious to know the answer to. If you were asked to go on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, would you do it?
I probably would. I probably would. I some of the shows I really like, and the thing that I think that I would be most drawn to is I think I would love to challenge myself and see if I'm a survivor.
Yeah.
I think I am. I think I'm pretty good at roughing it and dealing with challenges, and I think that's, especially being a child actor and one that survived the industry. If you can survive that, so I would love it. But I don't know whether I'd be a little bit too bossy boots. I'm a bit Veruca Salt. I want it now.
Gavin got me hooked on that show, as we don't have it here. I watch it when online and all that, and I think you'd do good at it. Huh?
Yeah, I think so too.
I think I'd cope. Yeah, I think I'd be all right. hey, I've worked with Oompa Loompas and Slugworth and all of those things. I can deal with a few creepy crawlies.
Right, we need to start a campaign then online, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but we can do that. I mean, of course, the glamorous one is Dancing with the Stars. Yeah, that would be wonderful and glamorous and doing all of that. But yeah, there are some shows that I think, yes, that would be fun, and there are others it's like, absolutely no way. So we have, the show Big Brother here, and I just think I couldn't bear that. I'd be bored. They're not allowed to take any books in.
Yeah.
But then we have the Bear Grylls when he does his Survivor things on an island. I think I'd be fine. I'd be cutting down trees and building camps and boiling water. I'd be fine.
Where can people listening, where can they find you on social media?
They can find me. I tweet, and I'm at Real Veruca Salt because there happens to be a band that got there first. So I am at Real Veruca Salt and Instagram, and I have a website, juliedawncole.co.uk. So I do get asked for bits and pieces and things, so I post a few things if people want to get photos. Oh, and I suppose I should say, yes, I have a book out, which you can get from either Amazon or off the website, juliedawncole.co.uk.
And if we order it, do you autograph it?
You can get that. That's why I sell them on my site, because people were saying, well, look, I've got the book off Amazon or other places, and I've got it off the internet, and now how can I get it signed? And it was going to cost them a fortune to send it to me, for me to sign it and send it all the way back again. So now I do have a few copies on my website that I can always personalize. But yeah, the book is no surprise here in the title. It's called I Want It Now, and it's my kind of story of the behind the scenes on the set, because the film was made in Germany, and my mother was in England. I used to write home to her, and I wrote home longhand, as we did back then before internet and texting and anything else, and she kept all those letters, and we reprinted those and put them in the book. So
nice.
There's my account of Dear Mummy, today I met Mr. Wilder.
Oh, wow, that's cool. I think I'm going to get that book. That'll be an amazing read. Very interesting.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Well, thanks so much, Julie, for coming on. It's an absolute pleasure to talk to you. It really is. And, we thank you so much, because it's for people like yourself that give us your time that, then obviously help us push the podcast forward. So we really do appreciate it, you giving us your time. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
No, I'm very happy, and I wish you all luck with it. So, yeah, I'll look forward to hearing it.
Thank you very much.
You have a great day,
right,
or great night. I'm sorry.
Great night. Yeah, I'm off to bed now. Early day tomorrow.
Nice. Okay.
All right.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Good night,
Thanks,
Julie.
guys.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Oompa, loompa, doompa-dee-da. If you're not spoiled, then you will go far. You will live in happiness too. Like the Oompa, loompa, loompa-dee-doo.
So that was our interview with Julie, and we really hope you liked it as much as we did talking to her. Again, an amazing woman, and I hope you may have learned something by listening.
How on earth did you notice her hair was shorter in the film?
You could see it.
I know, but only women would notice that. Why are you picking up on that?
No, because my babysitter used to be the TV set. So my mom would always sit me in front of the TV. So I just had to know. It just popped in my head, too.
I know, but it's like one of those camp Hollywood makeup artists would notice. Oh my God, sweetie, your hair. We need to do a little tweak.
Oh, just something that I thought I noticed, and because it is
queer
what?
eye for the Scott guy.
But yeah, I noticed stuff like that. Also, let's start that poll, man. Let's get Julie on I'm a Celebrity.
So, honestly, I think she'd do really well if she went on that show. And to those that don't know what we're talking about, it's I'm a Celebrity is a UK show. It's a little bit like Big Brother meets Amazing Race type thing. I'm guessing.
Meet Survivor.
Meet Survivor, yeah. So it's basically is it 12 celebrities or 10 celebrities? They go into the jungle in Australia. It's hosted by Ant and Dec, which are two of the greatest TV presenters in the UK. And if you've never heard of them, then I don't know what planet you've been living on, because they're like fantastic. And it's a great show. They have to do tasks and stuff. The public vote who they want to keep, and then each week, I think the first 3 weeks everyone stays in, or the first like week or so everyone stays in, and then after that they start voting them out. But the show itself thinks on for like 3 weeks. But it's on every November, I think it is, and it's a great show, so good. And I just think that, having watched the show for like 17 years, I just think that Julie would be a fantastic contestant on that show. I think she'd win it, to be honest.
Let's start that poll.
It's good. It's just a good show because like they like bugs and stuff. Like they have to like some of the stuff they have to eat, man. I mean, like,
lay in the bottom of snakes.
Yeah, like eat like an ostrich's arse, and it's good. I mean, it's very entertaining, especially when they start like gagging on the stuff they have to eat. It's just funny.
Fish eyes.
Fish eyes, yeah, and when they bite into them, it pops, and
it sounds like a potato chip crunching.
So anyway, because let's talk about food, but actual real good stuff that we like. Let's talk about sweets and candy for a second, because that's kind of linked with the whole Willy Wonka thing. Now, for those of you that don't know, I am a like sweetaholic, like candyaholic, whatever you want to call it. I love candy, and like it's my vice. Like I don't smoke, I don't drink, I never have done. I've never smoked dope, never taken any drugs. Like I love candy, and like I'm very passionate about it as well. Like, you know, I'll try all different kinds, and I have my favourites and my not so favourites, and I figured we'd talk about that now. So, personally, my favourite kind of chocolate, and it stems from when I was a little kid, I love Kinder chocolates, Kinder eggs, which I know that they're banned in America, so Scott's never even heard of them, because they're actually banned over there.
Why?
Because they're dangerous to kids, but apparently guns aren't. But anyway... Yeah, no, that's true. That's why they're banned, because it's like yeah, because when inside you get a little toy inside, and you have to build it yourself, and sometimes they're in little pieces. And America, the health authority or whatever, just deemed it unsafe for kids, so it got banned, which is a bit crazy. You can get them in Canada, so I actually think you should buy Caroline one, Scott, when you're here.
All right.
You can get like a box of 3, and they're just fun. You can get ones for girls and ones for boys. But anyway, I used to get them when I was a kid, and they used to get like the Pink Panther toys and the Smurfs, and used to get like the Disney characters, and you build them yourself. I had like a full collection, which actually would be worth a lot of money today, but they've gone. I don't know where they went. And even to this day, like when I open a Kinder egg, I still get excited about what's in the egg, even though I'm not going to care what it is. It's like the excitement that's like a throwback from when I was a kid. So those are like my favourite kind of chocolate. I'd say worst candy is, I hate anything watermelon flavoured. It's just disgusting to me. I don't know why.
I have to agree with that.
Oh, it's vile. Like it's
because
Dina loves it.
It never tastes like watermelon.
No, never does.
Do you actually like the watermelon fruit?
It's all right. I mean, I wouldn't go out and buy it, but it's just it's awkward, isn't it? Because it's so big. Well, you know what you do with it.
I love watermelon. We eat it here. It's a staple in the summer. You know, chop it up and all that, and but it doesn't taste like the candy.
No, it doesn't. Like it's very like, I just don't like it as a flavour for things. It's very subtle, the flavour. It's not a strong flavour, and I don't think it belongs in things. That's why you don't get very many watermelon flavoured like food items and sauces and things, because it's just not strong enough. You have to mix it with something else. So if it's mixed with like apple or something, like in a candy, I'll eat that. But like, I wouldn't just go out and buy a bag of like those, you know, those little jelly watermelon sweets, the little gummies. I wouldn't buy them. Like, they are the worst. I can't stand them. And Dina loves them, so like when she's got them, I never touch them. Craig, best and worst candy, mate. Sweet, chocolate bar, whatever you want, mate. Lean into the mic and do something with your life.
Well, I mentioned to you this when I got here. Probably my favourite candy is squishies back home. I know you probably don't have them here, but they're like squishy sweets. And it's like half, like one side is
one flavour.
Yeah, and the other is like another flavour. And these are like new, came out, and it's like, I think it's like sour, apple sour, and there's another flavour. But
Bubblegum.
No, that's the another.
Oh, for God's sake!
That's another squishy flavour. But yeah, squishy. I like squishies.
Well, so yeah, but think back to when you was a kid, because they've only just come out. Think back. You're just thinking of yesterday. Think back to when you were a kid. You used to go to Peg's sweet shop. Remember that? peg sweet shop with the husband Bert with the gimpy leg.
Yeah.
And you'd order sweets and he'd be at the other end of the shop and you'd have to wait for the cheeky get to get to the front. I almost said something else then, but
probably my favourite was probably Astro Belt.
Astro Belt, right. Describe to the listeners, because it's a riveting conversation, all dying to know. What's an Astro Belt? Lean in.
It's like a red strip. Like, if you're little, you'll probably class it as a belt. So it's
Hence
like
the name.
Shut up. And they were very sour back then. So you get one in like a roll, and then you like unroll it, and you can like rip it of whatever length you want.
He used to try and tie his pants up with it.
Shut up. They were red. And like I say, they were very sour, and I used to always love them. I always started to put a load in my mouth.
Greedy bastard. What's your worst ever, Candy? Your worst ever, mate? Come on, mate.
I don't think I have one.
You gotta have one, mate. Think of the worst thing of sweets you can eat. Come on!
Don't know.
You've gotta think.
I don't know, mate, because I don't go out and actually say.
Okay, Scott, mate. Best and worst.
Stupid.
My favorite are gummy bears or gummy worms, and I've always eaten them since I was little. And the worst, I gotta say, we have a candy called Jolly Ranchers.
Yeah, they're shite, them. Watermelon flavour in that, mate. They're horrible.
You know, you can't even bite them. They get glued to your teeth, and they're hard to come back off your teeth. And yeah, both that's shit, man.
Yeah,
shite. Sorry.
I hate shite's still a swear word, so you can say it thinking you're not swearing, but you are. You may as well just say shit. Anyway,
all right, just cross it out.
All right, I'll cut that out. Anyway, yeah, no, Jolly Ranchers are terrible, but we're going to fly back over and just going to rule out Jolly Ranchers, Craig, so don't say Jolly Ranchers. What is your worst ever flavour candy? Go. Lean in.
Probably anything to do with licorice.
Okay, you bought licorice on your second day here, so what was all that about?
At the superstore, right?
Yeah.
Twizzlers?
Yeah, that's licorice, mate. What are you playing at?
All right, what about the black licorice then?
Well, that's called black licorice.
Well, I don't like black licorice.
Okay,
then.
there we go then. That's that done. Jesus Christ. All
There
right.
goes that segment.
Yeah, there's that segment. So we do apologise for the bad language, but sometimes we just fuck up. So what are we gonna?
Jeez.
What are we gonna move on to now? Then what are we gonna?
Let's just talk about the pub crawl, because I mean it is only a day away by the time people listen to this. It's our last hurrah to get people to come.
Day away. I thought, wait a minute, it's not tomorrow, you know.
I know. Right. Okay. So let's talk about that. So we're meeting. We're gonna see each other on Friday the 18th, and obviously Dick is driving in, but it's hard to estimate a time of arrival to figure out when he's going to be getting here. But yeah, that's the plan. We're gonna meet. We're gonna go for some food, have a chat, plan out exactly what we're going to do. But then, of course, on the Saturday, the 19th of May, is the pub crawl in Halifax, starting off in the Red Stag, which is the Alexander Keith's main bar, basically, and that's like the famous beer from Halifax is Alexander Keith's.
At 1 p.m.
At 1 p.m, just for a few drinks, and then we're going to move on. There's a few different places we're going to go. We haven't mapped it all out yet. We may not even bother mapping it out. We may just wing it on the day. But either way, it's going to be a fun time.
You know, 3rd annual one, guys. I can't believe it, honestly.
Yeah. This is the 3rd time. Like, when you think about it, I mean, I think it's really good that so far we've stuck to this. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen again next year because, you know, life gets in the way and sometimes it's hard and it's expensive for the three of us to meet up. It will happen again at some point, just maybe not next year. But, you know, the fact that we've managed to do 3 consecutive pub crawls all in a row, I think that's pretty good. You know,
I've enjoyed every one of them.
It would have been nice to have done Liverpool this time back in the UK, but you know, that's a future trip that we can do in the future. But yeah, if you're around in the area and you want to meet up, give us a shout, let us know. We're also available on Sunday if people want to meet, have a cup of coffee, some more drinks or whatever. Let us know. We've got some stuff to do, some people to see, music video to make, some recording to do, basically just to make the most of it while we're here. We're doing a photo shoot as well for new updated photos, so I'm looking forward to that. That's on the Saturday morning. So
hope it don't rain again.
Oh no, last time it was like the day before was lovely, and then on the pub crawl morning when we were doing the photos, we went down to the waterfront to get some photographs in front of the lovely skyline of the little city of Halifax, and there was fog, so you couldn't even see anything. It's pointless.
it looked like a shower. It came. I looked like I stepped out of a shower. I was completely drenched.
Yeah, it's terrible. You could see his nipples through his shirt.
I got nothing on that one, guys.
Right. Okay. So we're not going to go on for too much longer because we've been chatting now for 20 odd minutes. But
Hey, if anybody didn't know either, we also got new T-shirts and hoodies up. So you could check that out through our website at majorsmesshall.com and buy something if you like.
yeah, there's some fantastic T-shirts gone on. I mean, we did used to use Zazzle, but it was a little bit more expensive, and it wasn't international. So that like if you went on it, like you had to go to either Zazzle.com, Zazzle.ca, or Zazzle.co.uk, depending on what country you're in. So it's really confusing to advertise, and it wasn't cool. We had people messaging us all the time, saying like, "Oh, I'm trying to order this shirt, but it's coming up in dollars," and it's like because you're not on the UK version. So it was a little bit confusing. This now, it's all done by Teespring, and we have a fantastic T-shirt designer. Basically, her name's Jenny. Fantastic, and she's got all new T-shirts up there, plus some of the old ones. There's some new Dick Johnson ones on there, and there's even some Cove Boy ones on there if you want to support Newfoundland rap music. You can buy a Cove Boy T-shirt. It's two different kinds. There's a Biggie Smalls one where he looks a little bit like Biggie. We called it Biggie Coves, and then there's just a standard one of Bertie's bald head with 709 on it. You can buy that, or you can buy the Dick Johnson one's fantastic. That's the one I'm going to buy next. And then there's even a comic book strip Dick Johnson one on there too. And then of course the Majors Mess Hall ones. So go on there. $21. I can't remember how much it was in pounds. It's not very much though, is it? It's $21 Canadian anyway to buy a T-shirt, which I think is not bad. So go on, check it out.
17 American.
17 American, so like less than that in. It's probably about £11 or something, I'd have thought. Anyway, check it out. Go to our website, majorsmesshall.com, and just click on the merchandise link and you'll find the T-shirts there.
And that's finally getting redone.
Yeah, the website, Mikey is fantastic. He created the website for us, but he's a very busy man and he just didn't have the time to dedicate to it. So I asked him if it was okay if we could pass on the information for that to Jenny. Jenny is taking it on board, and she is our new web designer, essentially. All overlooked by Mikey, which, it's great to have two great minds working on the one site. So we're very lucky to have, these great people. And of course, Kelly as well. Kelly was on our last episode. She's took over the social media side of things quite a lot as well. I mean, I still tweet a lot, and I'm still on the Instagram, but she's doing a lot of the work now as well. So it's helping. We're getting more followers and stuff, and she's come up with some great ideas of how to get our podcast out there more. So we're very appreciative of Kelly, Jenny and Mikey. So those three people, we'd struggle to do this without them, so just wanted to give them a shout out.
I understand about Mikey, and he's got family and all that, and he's busy doing other projects, and I'm glad that he's letting Jenny take the reins, but while still overlooking everything. So yeah, I appreciate them all.
Excellent. And on that note, I think we should wrap it up. So Craig, we're going to get some final thoughts off Craig now, who he just looks absolutely blown over that he's even in Canada. He looks very happy. So Craig, lean in, mate. Lean in, mate.
God! I haven't got much to say. I just said it before, I'm glad to be here, hanging out with you. Looking forward to stuff coming up this weekend, next week, and then
We're working on a new song, aren't we?
yeah.
Tell them about it.
Sadly,
Don't use the names. Don't use any of the lyrics because it's all expletives. So just talk about the song and where it started, and what I've been doing. What have I been doing with the song?
I came up with the idea, didn't I, of the song?
Yeah, but come on.
What?
Tell the listeners what's been going on with the song. I'm winding you up, haven't I? Tell.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying to bloody sleep here, and you bloody come along and wake me up with the song.
Yeah. So a couple of times he's dozed off, and I've thought, well, this isn't right. He's supposed to be here spending time with me.
Does anyone know what the song is?
I can't say the name of it because it's swearing.
As many times as he's been posting the videos, I think it's we know.
Yeah. Just basically just sit there and stop playing it while he's asleep. Wakes him up, gives him a wake up call. It's nice and refreshed. He's a little bit annoyed to start with, but then he's all right. He calms down after about half an hour, so it's good. But it's a good song. It was originally written about Scott, because it's what I like to do. I like to write songs about my friends. It was back. Was it last year or the year before? It doesn't really matter. Scott was annoying us, so we picked a guitar. We picked up a guitar, and we started to come up with some lyrics, didn't we?
Yeah. Just slamming, abusive.
We'll just bleep it. It's you are a bleep bleep bleep, and you stink of bleep bleep bleep.
Yeah.
Is the first line. So, I mean, if that's enough to say.
And then bleep 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 bleep.
Yeah. Sometimes you need expletives to get your point across of how passionate you are about that person. So, I mean, I'll take great pride in the fact that we've done that for you, Scott. Just want to let everyone out there know Scott doesn't smell of feces. It's just a song lyric. So don't think that he does, because if anything, he smells quite pleasant. That's all I'm going to say. So unless he's been wrestling and then he does stink, but it's not of feces. It's of sweat and odour and different things. We like to call it Bobby O. So we're going to go over to Craigie C. So give final thoughts on saying goodbye.
Yep. See you, everyone. See you next time on the pub crawl. Well, Fred.
Unbelievable. I'm sorry about this, guys. Going over to Scott Powers to give his final thoughts and say goodbye.
Hey, thanks for listening to this episode. We hope you enjoyed Julie's interview. And hopefully we'll see you guys this Saturday at the Red Stag, 1 p.m. for our 3rd annual pub crawl.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
What do you say? What?
I said okay.
Oh, this is unbelievable. This was going so well. He just did a perfect link. And you just sit there looking blankly.
You wanted me to say
No,
something.
because I don't know what you're doing, mate. You're looking over there and your eye went all funny.
I'm looking at the
Why did
screen.
your eye go bad?
Hey,
Didn't do anything.
You had a bad eye?
You just pointed something.
Final thought, Gav. And then you guys can argue.
God, he just wants to go, don't he? What's your brush?
I gotta go to work. I told you.
All right, sound. He's got to go to work, okay? Final thoughts. See you later, guys. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned for episode 71. Good? Are you happy?
Yeah.
Right,
I'm
ta-ra.
good,
See ya.
man. See ya. Tit.